All right, we are recording. There we go. So it has officially started. This is the Ryan and Max Sports Hour. This is our first episode. We got a few people in the chat. We got Mr. Neil Ciceriga on Barker duty. He's bringing some people in.
Thank you, Neil.
Yes. Without him, we would have Ming and Neil watching right now. Oh, Neil asked, how is it to soccer? How is to soccer? It's okay. All right. So, question we have on our Formspring, which is formspring.me/Ryan and Max Sport. Question is, what is the better beverage to drink during a good sports game? Jack Daniels, Pepsi, breast milk, or Mountain Dew? My answer, Ryan and I were discussing this before, is mix them all together. Make yourself a little drink. You got all sorts of good stuff in there. You got, caffeine to keep you going, a little bit of booze to give you the edge, and you got yourself breast milk, which of course has all the necessary nutrients and vitamins in it, calcium and whatnot. Ryan, how do you stand on this issue?
I think it's a good blend. I think you get your acid from the Jack Daniels, and it's balanced out by the base of the milk. I'm going to call this a John Waters. I would drink a John Waters.
All right, we're calling this a John Waters. We are...
One can actually make this.
Yes, you can make it at home. Our demographic of 13-year-old boys, go for it.
They don't know how to get the whiskey. Come on. Like they don't know how to break into that fucking cabinet.
No, but they do have access to breast milk.
Always.
Always, yes. All right. So... that's one question. We have about 3 more. Let's see. I can't even tell which ones are the new questions and which ones aren't. Oh, apparently we see all the new questions. All right. Well, we have those of you who are new to Ustream, there's a chat window here, the social stream. We are reading our social stream. If you want to hop on that, ask us some questions. We got 8 viewers now. We have literally doubled our viewers in the past 10 minutes. This is amazing. This is... a good job. I think we've earned a wing. I think we should have a wing here.
Wing time.
We've ordered some wings from Papa Gino's. They are unofficial sponsor. Got some ranch dressing here. I had napkins. I don't know what happened to them.
Napkins.
All right. Ryan's going to get us some napkins.
I'll just bring them all over. There we go.
All right. Well, getting to business, we have a question. Which sport is best? Which sport is best?
Bat racing.
Bat racing. Bat racing's pretty good. Let's see. Best sport. Well, there's a lot to take into account. You got to take into account how hard it is to do, and if it's fun to watch, and the amount of skill and amount of prep time. And if you take all those into account, I would say curling. You got to go with curling.
I was thinking curling.
Yes. That was one wing. I think we should go back to our form spring here. Keep the momentum going. All right. What is better, hosketball or a gymnastimitten?
Hosketball or gymnastimitten?
Of course, hosketball is the sport of... it's hockey, but with a basketball. You can't let the basketball touch the ground. You have to keep dribbling it with the hockey stick. And gymnastmitten is, of course, badminton, where your feet cannot touch the ground. You have to constantly be...
in a state of acrobatics?
Constantly in a state of acrobatics, and also playing badminton. at the same time.
I'm going
with
with
the
gymnastics
birdie.
mitten. That's a much more interesting looking game to play.
Yes, certainly.
Though I love the fighting of hockey. I do. I think it's one of the only ways that they actually keep the sport interest. That's really the whole sport.
But there's not as much fighting in hosketball because there's so much effort in making sure that the ball does not touch the ground.
I think they pop the ball with the skates.
It does happen fairly often. That's why it's not that popular. Let's see. Someone's asking a question here. Are we allowed to ask any questions other than those about sports? No! No, you're not. Not at all.
You can ask them, but we're not going to answer.
You can ask them. Maybe people in the chat will answer them for you if you're, wondering about something. Here we go. Ming Doyle. Which of the sports of the ancient world was best? Mayan head crunch, lacrosse, marathoning, dogs. Dogs is a sport.
Dogs.
Well, dogs was quite good. Dogs is a multifaceted sport.
They still dog in Norway.
They do, yes.
Every
They've
year.
been trying to enter dog into the Olympics. There is a petition. You can look it up. You can sign it online to enter dog into the Olympics. We are big supporters of dog.
The American Kennel Association and the American Kennel Club do not advocate the playing of dogs.
No.
Very archaic. They're just so far back. In the
Yeah,
release.
yeah, but
Go with the times.
we're for it. We're for it. Good question, Ming Doyle. That's Ming Doyle, mingdoyle.com.
Mingdoyle.edu.
Right. Not mingdoyle.gov, but she's working on that.
Learning for
Yeah.
the kids. The kids.
I'm gonna eat another wing until I get another
Wings
question.
are good.
Yeah.
Wings are good. I think we could fill in a moment or two here about. I saw a great photo of a series of people attempting to play. It was like it was a hockey kind of setup, but they had weights and they'd weigh themselves down so they could do this underwater, in a pond, not like a pool setting, and it looked like it was not fun.
And they had scuba tanks, I assume.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, they.
That didn't take very long.
No.
No.
Well, let's see. We got something in our inbox on FormSpring. Yeah, this is formspring.me/Ryan and Max Sports. 2 more questions since we got here. All right. I am from Scandinavia. Can I score a goal in golf? Well, they have changed the rules of golf recently. It is now allowed for Scandinavians to score a goal. Before, Scandinavians could enter golf tournaments. They could play it, make it all the way to the PGAs. But whenever they got a ball into a hole, it did not count. They have since changed that. They acknowledge that Scandinavians are people, and their scores do count. So, congratulations to the good people of Scandinavia. You could be the next Tiger Woods.
Well, let's be real here. You're not gonna cheat on your wife.
No. But I mean, Scandinavians, they're good,
Do Scandinavians
good, faithful people.
Do they use metric? I don't know if they're. I think that might.
They probably do. We're the only country that doesn't. We're the only ones.
Well, that's gonna change.
Yeah, we actually invented the word inch. If you're in another country and you say, "Oh, it was just inching along," people don't know what you're talking about, and in some countries you can get deported for saying the word inch.
That is their problem.
Yeah.
And
Can I reconcile sports and Christ? Well, yeah. Well, Ryan and I differ on this issue.
No. Can't do it.
Yeah, Ryan sees sports as a religion, and therefore you cannot dedicate yourself to sports and Christ. He sees them as 2 separate entities here.
Christ either existed or there are such thing as sports. Do the math.
Right now,
Can't coexist. Can't
I
happen.
think there is balance for Christ and sports. And Ryan and I have agreed to disagree on this issue.
Slow down here a notch.
We've agreed to disagree. I'm just expressing my viewpoint. I'm not trying to, force my views on anyone. But I don't necessarily believe in a separation of sports and church. There are some churches that accept sports fans and Christians. And I think it's fine. But good question. All right. What sport is the best to sing to? Well, let's see. A sport that has a good rhythm here. Curling, again, is always a good answer. I mean, you watch a game of curling and you tell me there's not a song in your heart. But something rhythmic, of course, competitive ballroom dancing. I mean, you gotta get some music going for that. Maybe even play an instrument and ballroom dance and sing. I mean, then you got like a whole thing going on there. Even if you're just
weaving.
Basket weaving. Competitive basket weaving. You weave to the beat. It keeps a rhythm up. It keeps it so you are weaving in time.
Submarine combat.
Yes.
Hear something down there because I can't hear you scream.
Right. Rowing.
No, that's a bit silly, don't you think, Max?
No, I mean with the they're all keeping your breathing going. A little bit of chanting.
Rowing is a lot of. Rowing is not a rhythmic. It's. There are sticks. There are sticks.
Like a Gregorian chant, like whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's not the way I was taught how to row. There's a lot of flailing about, and there are naps. There's a lot of naps. There's a lot of flailing about,
like sleeping naps.
Sticks.
A
lot of sticks. That's
like
I don't know how you learn how to
rowing.
No, I don't know how you learn how to row.
Not canoeing. I'm talking about the guy in the front is yelling with the bullhorn.
Oh, I know how the boat works. That's just it's not how I was raised how to row.
All right. Well, again, Ryan and I agree to disagree. That's why you have two hosts. You get two different points of view here, keeping it fair and balanced. You got the guy with his sleeves rolled up. You got a guy in a suit. It shows you're getting two different viewpoints here. Keeps it lively. Does dancing count as a sport? Anything you can fail at is a sport. If you can fail at it, it is a sport because you can also excel at it. And sports are all about excelling at things.
That's right.
Exactly.
There can be only one.
You both seem to have a very broad knowledge of sports. Do you specialize in any in particular? We specialize in pretty much all of them. Mm-hmm. We don't really have much of a weak point. We're kind of broad experts. Every time we read a news story about one sport, we make sure we read news stories about every other sport so that we always have a level amount of knowledge.
It's actually one of the reasons we decided to start this podcast, is because we just excel so well that we really thought that we could put our expertise into some good use, and we'd level the playing field by, pulling yourself. Sometimes you gotta pull yourself out. You gotta pull back.
Like rowing.
No, that's not how you do it.
All right. Do you know which sport is Tommy Wiseau's favorite? Football!
Yes.
Football! Come on! Hello, football! Have you seen the movie The Man Made? I just saw the guy, not joking here, saw the guy a week ago tossing a football with people. Come on.
He throws well.
He plays a little bit of basketball. And he does some running, but let's face it, the football is the most prevalent. It's the football. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, watch The Room. It's available on Netflix, starring, written, edited by, produced by Tommy Wiseau, a fan of football. All right. Have either of you ever been horse riding? I suppose that's a sport. Yes, it is. Horse riding.
I'm not going to comment on that, and I think J.S. Scolder, if that's what you like to call yours, I think you know full well why.
Yeah. Look up. If you look up Ryan's name, and horse riding on Google, you may find certain news stories. A lot of them are skewed. I don't think they got the whole story.
Fabrications.
Yes, for legal reasons we can't go.
Dirty rumors.
For legal reasons we can't go into what actually happened on that weekend. But we can't touch the issue as of right now. You can come to your own conclusions.
Which would be wrong.
Right. We got another question coming in here. On a fox hunt, what do I do if I have to go to the bathroom?
Use the fox.
You
dingus.
Yes.
What do you think you're out there for?
Exactly. The point of a fox hunt is everyone has to go to the bathroom, and then you get into your very restrictive gear, and then you go on the fox hunt, and then once you get the fox, then you get to go to the bathroom. That's what it's all about.
I think we all know where the expression "foxing about" comes from.
Yes. This is just history. Does football actually have any rules, or is it just a bunch of guys jumping on each other? Now, there was a rumor circulating a couple of years ago that there was a rule book for football. This is not true. Football officially has no rules. It's all just a matter of courtesy. Everything is just, courtesy that is done, basically. Officially, there's no such thing as breaking a rule in football. Everything is just done out of common courtesy. This is a big misconception. Let's see. We have some more questions that we got earlier. So let me jump back into our pool here. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna jump into this one. Who is a better athlete, Reggie Jacksbury or David Beckham? Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with these players, they are from fantasy football. And in fantasy football, what it is you make up imaginary players and you make up their stats, and then you put bets on who would win out of these imaginary players in a football game. Now, I'm going to say Reggie Jacksbury is a better athlete because he got infinity billion touchdowns last year. Ryan, who do you think is better?
I'm going to go with Jacksbury as well. To my understanding, he spent the first 15, 20 years of his life living as sort of a parasite, a sort of parasitic twin, inside the body of a much larger man, from which he learned how to throw his weight around, and he learned by the time he could sprawl on his own 2 feet and escape from his wretched manly womb, that he actually spent a great deal of time learning how to be a much larger man, and he used that knowledge to his advantage.
We all love a good underdog story. We love a Cinderella story. We love people who, bring themselves up. Climb up from, the lower levels, that's always good. And if they're real or not, doesn't matter. It's a good story.
Also, Peckman, I hear, lousy gambler.
Lousy gambler.
Out with cards.
All right. This is from Ricky Strange. This is not anonymous. Good job giving your real pseudonym, Ricky Strange. How many sacks does a sports player need in a touchdown to foul the umpire and win the Stanley Cup? This is a fake question. You are being absurd and ridiculous, and we don't appreciate it. Okay. What is your favorite sports player of all time, of any sport ever in the history of sports?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Percy Jackson, the lightning thief.
Yep.
He stole the shit out of that lightning.
Yep.
I think we all remember how that went down in 2008.
Yeah. Actually, we were discussing this earlier, and I'm going to go with the guy who hit Nancy Kerrigan in the leg. That was
Tonya Harding's ex. Classic.
Yes.
Classic
That was a good move. That's how you do it. It really livened up the sport of figure skating. It was good form. He hit her right there, got her right in the leg. Good job.
Crucial ankle.
Great.
Crucial
yeah.
leg.
It's a hard maneuver to pull off. He got it in one move. Great athlete. Wish he wasn't retired. Need to see more of him. Which Mario sports game is the best in your personal opinion? Another thing we were discussing earlier.
Luigi's Mansion.
Right. I agree. Great portrayal of the sport of ghost catching. Just really great. Just full immersion into the sport. Feels like you're really there. What else we got here? Who is Mean Joe Green? I got this one. Mean Joe Green was indeed a very mean man. Now, what he would do was he would just steal drinks from children just all the time. And not only would he do that, he would take his smelly, stinking, sweating jersey and just tear it off and just whip it at the kids who had just stolen a drink from. I mean, sometimes he was known to wear his jerseys for just 3 months at a time, so they were just stinking and sweaty and moldy and green, and just whip it at him. Sometimes he'd like put like a rock in it or something, and he'd just toss it at those kids and just steal their drinks all the time. I'm gonna go back to the chat now. Let's see what we got going on over here. Got some questions here. Let's see. Do either of you participate in any sports, or are you just dedicated to the study of them? We largely study them, that's for sure. When you spend as much time studying sports as we do, it's pretty hard to spend any time really playing them, and it warps your point of view. Really, if you're going to comment on sports, don't play any sports. It's going to give you a bias. It's going to warp your perspective. It's not going to be good. The only way to be unbiased is to avoid sports play altogether. Do you agree?
Yes and no. Right now, I'm actually exhausting the funds from a grant that I got from an institution. And I'm using that to teach orangutans how to play lacrosse. And I have to tell you, so far it is going very badly. Orangutans do not understand English or any language, and they have been unable to use the tools or the ball in any formidable way resembling the sport. And I'll continue to use those funds to do so until the orangutans are gone.
It could turn around. I mean, you have
it
zero results right now.
That's right.
It seems like a waste, but in actuality, it could turn around.
And there is a lot of money that I intend to burn into this project. And I'm aware of where that money could have gone.
The only way that he's going to make any more progress is if he gets more money. So keep an eye out on our forum spring. We're going to try to link to a Kickstarter on there. Let's see. Max, what sport would we play on our first date? This is from
Dogs.
Laura Trainer. What was that?
Dogs.
Dogs, yes. Well, dogs has been called the sports of romance, but let's see. There's a lot of factors into this question. This is a hard question. You want a sport that makes you look better. So basically, I want a sport that women just aren't good at. And I'm sorry if this is a sexist comment, but again, curling. It's well known women can't curl, okay?
Facts don't lie.
It's a fact. I'm sorry. Men and women are built differently. It's just science. It's biology. Women were not meant to curl. And every time you see a woman in curling, you just bite your lip and you just say, I know she's trying, but gosh darn it, she's not going to make it. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I have advocated this for years. We need a women's curling league. We do. It's just not fair to have men and women curlers in the same league. We have the WNBA and the NBA. Let's extend that to curling. It is even more crucial in curling than it is in basketball. If they merged the WNBA and the NBA tomorrow, it would be a much more level playing field than curling, and, well, that's all I have to say about that. So we would go curling on our date. Have you ever been to the annual class twit? Have you ever been to the annual class twit of the year games? Oh, you didn't capitalize twit of the year. Yes, of course. This was documented on the BBC program Monty Python. You can look at some highlights from that if you please. But yes, wonderful, wonderful. Let's see. Are there any sports that are good to play while drunk? Let's see.
Many.
Many. Ryan, you start us off. I'm gonna have a wing here.
Very well. Baseball, most certainly. I believe that as of this age, about 70 to 80% of all players are currently drunk, at least at the professional level. I mean, there are, of course, amateurs who may not be able to hold their liquor, but let's be honest here. When it comes to the A game, when it comes to the big leagues, I think we all know where the sauce has to go.
Now, there's been talk that they're going to implement breathalyzer tests before games. I'm against it. I think it's going to damage the sport. I think we need our baseball players a bit tipsy. It's how they learn to play. It's how they're going to continue to play. It's always been a major part of the sport. We take that away, it's not the same game. It's ruining an American tradition.
Yeah, it's funny. On that topic, another sport that would be useful for that is Scottish golf. Now, in Scotland, golf is played here in America on stateside. You play golf with well-trimmed, short grass, specific kinds of grass actually used for the green and for putting, and that in Scotland, the golf course is very different. They have long, shaggy, wild-growing grass, and the grass there is sometimes up to a foot tall, 2 feet tall, and you play through the rain and the sleet and everything else, all the weather conditions, and it's a much rougher, more difficult game because you have to watch where your ball goes, and you can't necessarily see it where it lands. There's a lot more focus involved. Now, some of the more famous Scottish golfers actually, when looking for the golf ball, because you have to go looking for it after you hit it, there's a very famous story of one who was going out and he found a little treasure box just there in the grass, and he took the treasure box. It's about this big. It was about 6 inches by 6 inches, gold encrusted and wooden, and lots of jewels. It was a very intricate, ornate little box, and he brought it back home, and there was a circular indentation, a hole where something about the size of a golf ball could fit. And so he took one of the other balls that he had. He went back, of course, to his home, which was exclusively golf themed, and he took some of the balls and he tried all different ones, all different colors and sizes, and some were kind of rough because they'd been used, and some were new and clean, and none of them could open the box. And so he realized that he needed to use the ball that he had that he'd lost during the game, the ball that he was using at the time that he found the box. So he scoured this Scottish golf course, the tall grass, and the wind, and all the rain and sleet, and he went digging again through the grass, just knowing that there has to be something worth getting in this box. It was there for a reason. It was there for golf players, and he met the Black Eyed Peas. They were actually hidden in the grass, and he met all 4 of them, and they said, "We need to play at the Super Bowl." And he said, "Oh, that can't stand. I can't stand for that. I'm a Scottish golfer. This is highly inappropriate." And they asked, "Can you play golf? Do you play Scottish golf?" And they said, "No, of course not. They did not play Scottish golf." So he decided to take these. He took the Black Eyed Peas and he put them into a box which he actually designed. He knocked them out first with his golf clubs, and he kept them in his basement for a few days and fed them on goat's milk and bread and things. And he designed a box in the shape, but large, proportionally larger, a scale design of the treasure box. And he poured all of his money and all of his savings into it, and he made an indentation that was big enough for a person's head. And so he took Will.i.am's actual head as the lock piece, and after he switched it, he turned it in a way that his lower vertebrae coming out of his spinal cord actually locked in, and he kept the Black Eyed Peas in that box. And when he locked it shut...
24 minutes left, Ryan. 24 minutes.
Well, the box shrank down to the size of the puddle box that he found. And that was when he realized, of course, that is the mystery to the original box, and that the box is not meant to be opened.
Question was about drinking.
Well, he was, yes.
He was drunk?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That answers that. I think Ryan covered it.
Yes.
How do you feel about Quidditch being at the Olympics?
I'm for it.
I'm against it. again, another issue Ryan and I disagree on.
Dogs.
Magic has no place in sports. It is an unfair advantage. Yeah, it's just it throws things off. I'm against it. I'm not for it. We got 2 more questions coming in on our form spring. For those of you joining us late, this is formspring.me/RyanandMaxSport. All right, what is your take on Major League Illusion? Who are you rooting for this season, David Blaine or Penn Jillette?
Penn.
Yep, gotta go with Penn Jillette. David Blaine doesn't really have as many illusions as he used to.
It's not there.
He, of course, famously was in a box. It was not an illusion, it was a box. Was hoping it would be a trick. Turns out he was in the box the whole time. I don't know if he meant to turn into a trick and escape from the box. He did not escape from the box. He was in the box the whole time. Penn Jillette, I think he could have gotten out of that box.
I think he could have, and I think he would have taught us a lesson in the process.
Yes. All right, it is halftime. Ryan has let his hair down.
Halftime.
Now it gets serious. What sport is being played in the film Radio? Was it made up for the movie?
I don't believe there was a sport in that film.
Nope. You are being mistaken. That was just a series of movements and ball passing in the film Radio. Let's see here. Okay, we got some other questions that we didn't answer previously submitted to us. Where are they? Here. What is the sportiest moment in sports history? That would probably be when a great athlete back in 1923 by the name of Sporty Sportitson won a medal for sportsmanship.
I'm going to have to go with the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis,
I think we
yes.
really had our A game on it.
Good use of sportsmanship, good respect for the other players. I'm going to change my answer. I think you're right. Cuban Missile Crisis.
Good.
Cuban Missile Crisis. See, Ryan and I don't always disagree. You know, gotta keep it real. Gotta admit when you're wrong. This is a question about Michael Jackson. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Michael Jordan.
Oh,
well,
that's...
not nearly as good of an athlete as Michael Jackson was. Didn't quite have the best moves. Back when he was in his prime compared to, Michael Jackson. Is it true Michael Jordan is an alien intent on destroying mankind with his brand of sneakers? It may very well be. At the very least, he is probably an alien, given the evidence that is out there. Whether he is a kind alien meant to help mankind with the sneakers, or if his sneakers will ultimately bring on the downfall of a race, that has yet to be seen. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. I think that he needs his profits to rebuild his ship. I think he's just trying to get home.
All right. Let's see. Well, it looks like we caught up on our cache of questions. Again, if you have a question, formspring.me/RyanandMaxSport. Also, let's see what's going on in the chat. All right, same questions as before. All right, well, we need some new questions, guys. This is a Q&A show. Got to keep it lively. We got another 20 minutes here. Okay, here we go. Who was the best athlete of any sports in the 90s?
That is a tough one. Best athlete of any sport in the 90s. Let's go back. It's time to open up the history books. Time to really go back and
open them on up.
I'm going to have to go. Yeah, Saddam. I'm going to go with, see with 90s. 90s Saddam, iconic style. The beret, the uniform, the mustache. Come on, I think we all know who really had their A game on the 90s. I mean, if Saddam, if being a ruthless, maniacal dictator doesn't constitute as a sport, Well, I think that we need to seriously reevaluate. I mean, come on now, the Olympics 2012. Let's think. Let's get real here. If Saddam is not the number one athlete of the '90s, and I just don't know what this world is coming to. I wonder what they teach kids. I don't know if they teach kids in school these days. Do you think they even teach them about his accomplishments, about what Saddam did, ruthlessly gassing his own people?
I don't know. Good answer. I'm gonna put him at number 2. I'm gonna say.
All right.
I'm gonna put him at number 2. All right. He's almost there on my list.
You bet. All right.
What I'm gonna say from the 90s.
Where are we going this time?
No. Stick with me here. 90s. Come Home, Bubba Joe. Amazing
Oh.
Horse, Kentucky Derby. 95. Come Home, Bubba Joe. We all know the story. You know, again, everyone loves an underdog. That horse made it happen. That was best athlete of the 90s. Come Home, Bubba Joe. May she rest in peace. Let's see. Oh, this one looks like a question for you, Ryan. No, I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Do my constant advances towards Max count as a sport? Yes, they do. Of course, advancing on me is a sport. We all are aware of last year. You know, the it came down to the wire. You know, 2 great athletes advancing on me. Yeah,
It's a good show.
Good show.
Spencer Hensel came in with the bronze, didn't he?
Yes, he made it far. He made it quite far in advancing on me.
He works in a coal mine now. Did you know that?
Yeah, good.
Spends a lot of time there. It's good.
Yeah. All right. So you said that you can fail anything you can fail at counts as a sport. Does that mean life itself is a sport? What have we been saying? Life is a sport. Of course.
Silly question.
Yeah. In the Olympics, of course, that's my favorite. That's my favorite event that they have there. Is just life. You know, last year, you know, the gold medalist for life, of course, Dan Jackson, great man. He just, he won at life.
Did a good job.
Yeah. Let's see. Have you invented any sports? Well,
I wouldn't say my work with the orangutan is constituted as inventing a sport, but then some days I might.
yeah. I have invented a sport of sorts. It's called mob tag. What you do is you have a group. You need to have at least 2, preferably a very large group, hence mob tag. Basically, everyone is it, you know, much like the game of tag, except for one person. And everyone is trying to tag this one person. Whoever does tag the one person then becomes a person who is not it, and then the mob chases them. It's mob tag.
Actually, there's something that I was working on a few years back about we didn't really have the term in the lab was called persplunking, and when you'd persplunk, basically you would go to a large public venue, like Times Square or Boston Common. You go to a large public open area, and you'd curl up in a little ball and you cry. You cry in this ball until somebody once offers to help you or puts their hand on your shoulder or asks you is something wrong or what's going on, and then you need to you jump up, arms flailing, and like you get them, and then you need to get to a sewer as fast as you can hold your breath, and if you get into the sewer, persplunk.
Now, what do you mean by get them?
Well, I think we all know what I mean by get them.
Oh, okay. So that is what I was thinking. Yeah. Now,
someone is unhappy with us.
Oh, geez. That is, it's a bit shaky there.
Everything is all right, folks.
Yeah, this is okay.
Continue the program as it stands.
This is normal.
I see that Lana Trainer.
Laura.
Gold
medalist in advancing on me.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's right. She is quite good at what she does.
People in the stream, are you seeing an altered image here? Are you seeing that it's sort of waving in and out, or is that just from our point of view here?
There's something.
Can anyone tell us if you're seeing an altered picture here? We're having, looks like we might have technical difficulties. Is anyone paying attention? I need someone to tell me if they're seeing like a weird effect on the video feed. Yes, okay, this is happening. Okay.
Am I in?
Alright, well, it's all wonky. Alright,
Show must go on.
show must go on, yes. We really don't know what to do about that. Perhaps it'll just resolve itself. Let's see. Now we're getting a response. I think there's a bit of delay here. Alright, well, let's just keep answering questions. Is the audio quality good enough? Can you hear us? Audio good? Good audio? Audio okay? Seems like the weirdness is dying down. It's falling down. It's going... yeah, there's definitely a delay on the chat. I'm just going to keep going because the... it's trying to take up a sport.
Well played.
Ah.
Not the worst thing I've heard.
It looks like it's normalizing now. Anyway, question was...
yes, back to the question.
if eating wings were a sport, which of you would win?
Who's eaten more wings so far?
Thus far, I have won at this, but the game's not over yet. Ryan can tie it up. There's still more wings to be had. I sound fantastic. Thank you, Laura Trainer. She continues to advance on me.
Laura Trainer.
She's a dedicated athlete. One of these days she might get me. She keeps up at it. And then the game's over. The sport is finished. Once I'm gotten, that is the end of advancing on me. All right. Oh, we got 2 questions in our form spring. It's good because we got another 10 minutes of sports to bring you. This one comes from Mr. Neil Ciceriga, neilciceriga.com. I will not spell that. What is your favorite track on Huey Lewis and the News album Sports? Hip to be Square, of course.
I don't know about that. I'm going to go with I Need a New Drug. I think that is it's really at the peak their professionalism, both as individuals and as artists. I really think that we get somewhere with that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
but
sentiment.
The thing about Hip to be Square is it's not just a message about the comforts of conformity, but it's also a statement about the band itself.
You know, you're right there.
Yeah.
But so few people bother to listen to the lyrics.
Yeah. All right. I saw, this comes from Anonymous, so this could just be a lie. I saw Dan Marino at a coffee shop the other day. He was sitting in the corner by himself. He was looking rough around the edges, almost melting. Large clumps of hair were piled around his shoulders. He was whistling a strange, familiar tune. What was it? Well, that, of course, was probably Dan Marino's favorite song, which is Why Am I So Romantic? Which can be found on my YouTube page, youtube.com/MarcoBat16. MarcoBat16, thank you. Almost forgot that. Where you can hear that song playing 24/7, and it will never, ever, ever change. Dan Marino and I have excellent taste in music.
Also, as of this week, Dan Marino has become one of the spokesmen for AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. So there's a pretty good chance that you, not to kill your buzz there, but there's a pretty good chance that you didn't actually meet Mr. Marino himself, the Super Bowl winning, multiple ring bearing champion. He has several clones in place, most of which have been re-modified to make him appear older, as the AARP needs him to seem as old and useless as possible, like themselves. And in doing so, the process, a lot of times clones, they kind of test the levels a little too much, not quite enough. And if you'd seen a Dan Marino under significant deterioration, it's a pretty good chance that, well, that's not the actual Dan the man. You should actually, if it ever comes up again, if there are Marinos in your area, you should try and take as much of his scalp as you can for a souvenir. They do well on eBay. It's good.
Yep. All right. Golden Fool 704. Do you feel that sports are necessary for happiness in life? They are necessary for life. Whether you are happy or not is your own choice, but no sports, no life.
I think we're all pretty familiar with that.
Laura Trainer points out that the sport of advancing on me is not over until she is married to me. That does count as full advancement. You are right.
I don't know about. I mean, I think it's up to the point of I don't say silver medal, but to get the gold, Max, I think you need to be dead.
All right. Well, we'll see next season if I'm dead, and we'll see how that goes. Mr. Neil Ciceriga, neilciceriga.com, is saying that there is an ad break. We are recording this. It will be available somewhere, probably on this page itself. Audio quality is good. Thank you. We are using an external microphone. It is working out quite well. We're happy with that.
Andrew Doyle.
Andrew Doyle. Doyle 8, yes. The 8th, Andrew Doyle. Good to know that the audio is good. All right, we got 5 minutes left. Let's do a lightning round here. We got 5 minutes left. Let's get all these questions in. 5 minutes. Let's make it happen. 5 minutes. All right. Let's not waste them, guys. 5 minutes. Just throw your questions out there.
Audio is good. Good audio. You sound fantastic.
We got NFL draft happening at 8 o'clock. All right. We know we all need to tune in for that. No messing around. NFL draft, 8 o'clock. Live. First round of NFL. All right. What is the funniest sports-related joke you have ever heard? Let's see. Ryan, you got one?
Well, a man walks into a bar, and the bartender comes up and says, "You're not a man, you're just a giant cockroach." And the man, well, he is a cockroach. He says, "Oh, joke's on me, you're right."
It's a good one. It's a classic. All right. 99 footballs working... I'm sorry. Now I'm getting this wrong.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yep, no. All right. 99 footballs walk into a bar. Bartender says, "Hey, we don't serve footballs in here. You footballs, get out." And the footballs say, "Oh, we're not here to drink. We're just here to score!" It's a classic. All right. Oh, now they're coming in. There is a bit of delay on the chat here. What are your thoughts on the NFL draft? I am for it.
For it.
I think we should keep drafting people into the NFL. If we don't, we're going to run out of players. That's going to be no good. We need to keep the draft. We need to keep adding players.
I agree. I don't see why the draft ever ends. I don't see why we shouldn't even consider it a draft. It should just be a regular. That should be state of being. We should always be drafting.
Always. But we are thankful for the amount of drafting that we have right now.
Silly.
Is living or dying more of a sport?
Dying.
Dying, yes. Living, it's too complex. It's a lot of...
it's very mainstream, I think.
There's a lot of...
polite way to describe it.
A lot of being sedentary, just like motionless. Dying is far more elegant. There's more of an art form to it. There's more strategy to dying. Definitely dying as more of a sport. Would I have to be a soccer mom to our children? Our children would be playing a lot of sports. Of course, I would want to raise my kids to be athletes of all sorts. So at some junction, you would have to be a soccer mom, but not entirely all the time. You would also be, competitive triangle playing mom, and all the other sports that we've covered. I mean, underwater weighted hockey.
I see
all of
you're
these.
going from, but I don't think children should have mothers. I don't see that's not how children should be raised.
But theoretically, in this hypothetical
course.
situation, if I've made the awful mistake of giving my children a mother,
and it happens,
a terrible mistake.
I mean, it happens.
Yes, sometimes you have no control of the situation. Sometimes you have kids, and all of a sudden things happen. There's a mom.
Right.
It happens.
Here in Massachusetts, all the time.
Yeah. Let's see. How do you feel about the college level sports compared to elementary level? Should children be promoted to pro?
Yes.
Anything from elementary level to college level should all be considered in the same league. There's no reason to separate age groups at that point. It is all level playing field. It's all just a matter of skill. We have 2 minutes left. If you die before marriage, does the sport have any winners?
Bless you.
As Ryan said, it could be argued that you could win the sport of advancing on me with me dead. So yes, the sport would still have some winners. How do you feel about underground dying rinks in Mexico?
Forum.
No, see, on the one point you have just these players that aren't allowed into the major leagues due to whatever restrictions, and it's good that they have an outlet. But the fact of the matter is, when you don't have the rules and regulations on dying, things can get ugly. I mean, people can get hurt. I mean, they can really get hurt.
But I mean, that's just gonna happen if you don't give them a venue to get it out there. It's only gonna be there has to be a venue.
I wish we could extend league play to these parts of the world and these parts of society that do not have them. Also, is ghost hunting a sport? I reckon you're good at that sport. We already covered, you just play Luigi's Mansion. It is the same thing. It is the best simulator of any sporting experience. I do not hunt sports. I do not hunt ghosts. I tour them, and actually tomorrow at 8 p.m. in Providence at Prospect Terrace Park, you can go on one of my ghost tours. That is a fact. Most of the dying rinks are rigged with suicidal people, though. They have been testing for suicidal people in the major leagues. Again, this is one of the reasons why I think we need rules and regulations in the underground.
No one wants to go to a suicide rink like that. I mean, nobody wants to go. And when the game is rigged, the audience knows it. The players, there's no pride in this. Even the children can tell if there's just no sport to it.
Right. All right. It is now 8 o'clock, so I'm going to take this one last question. They snuck in under the radar. This is from FB/0. Let me start that again. FB-10. Oh, it went away. FB-100024879463337. A very, very catchy username. They asked, "Hey Ryan and Max, in which sport is it acceptable to kill a man?" Death Race 2000. You can watch the documentary about it. It's called Death Race 2000.
Wonderful work.
Wonderful work.
Ken Burns, was it?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. All right. And that is it. We got another question, but they did not sneak in under the radar. We are very strict here. I mean, again, without rules, you got nothing. Life is a sport, and you need rules. All right. So this is Ryan and Max signing off. This has been the Ryan and Max Sports Hour. We will be back eventually. That's about it.